When it comes to me, Andar, of the Andar Nation, there is one inescapable truth. And that truth is that I like video games. That may surprise you, but on top of that, I like good video games. And Victoria 2 is one such good video game. And there's a lot you can do, a lot of countries, a lot of strategic play. But over time, you kind of play a lot of it, and it kind of becomes the same stuff over and over again. You can play as France, or you can play as, Prussia, and, sooner or later, you're going to just go through the motions and do kind of the same stuff on different sides of the war. But I just kind of need a change. And Paradox is certainly taking its time with whenever Victoria 3 is going to come out, so I got to do something. Victoria 2 is all I got to get that Victoria goodness, and I'm certainly not going to play Victoria 1. So you got to get a little creative. You got to modify the formula, so to speak. Add some modifications to your Victoria 2. And that's what we're going to do here today, because I'm playing the Historical Project mod, which, as far as I can tell, models things a little bit more realistically, has a more historically accurate map. I have no idea if that's true. I'm not a historian, but I'll believe it, sure, because, Orange, the Free Republic of Orange isn't there, so that's a start. So yeah, and I'm going to play as Serbia, and what I'm going to try to do is form the Great Yugoslavia, which is, from my experience in the vanilla game, almost impossible to do, because you have the great power of Austria up here to your north, and you have the great power of the Ottoman Empire to your south. And while both of them are not the greatest of great powers, in fact, both of them, definitely one of them, but a lot of the times both of them, will lose their great power status at some point. Obviously the Turks are going to lose it, and the Austrians might not. But Austria does lose it from time to time. Either way, even without that great power status, they're still tough. They have the 5th best military in the world. The Turks have the 7th, at the start anyway. And Serbia, meanwhile, has the 86th. It's not a good situation. So, as Serbia, you kind of have to wait around and do a lot of political maneuvering, which a lot of the time goes the wrong way. But in the Historical Project mod, there are a few events that help you guide the way towards the creation of Yugoslavia, because guess what? In real life, despite the challenges, Yugoslavia did in fact get created. And I ran a practice campaign, I guess you could call it that, of Yugoslavia, in which this is kind of the height of the power before I got bored and just started, typing in console commands and doing this. But for whatever it's worth, in real play, this is the farthest I got. Which is to say, Yugoslavia was created, we're a secondary power, barely, but still. And we're allied with Italy, and we're having lots of problems with Austria. Our problems with the Turks are not going to go away because they're allied with Austria. It's a big mess. We shouldn't get into that too much, other than to highlight that, unlike in the base game, forming Yugoslavia is possible. So, we're going to go see if I can do it in a recording for you to enjoy. So sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. It might go all the way downhill. Because as I've said in many other Let's Plays, I'm terrible at I like good games, but I'm terrible at them. Let's just say. So, what do we have here? We can field 4 troops. Yeah, 4 troops of 3,000. I need to get a drink of water. Man. All this talking. It's not a big military. even if we did field them all, we would be no match for even that. Like, that's just one of their stacks. And we would be crushed by it. Not to mention Austria, which is even stronger. And my strategy is going to be, it cannot be military, because we just are not a match. Even if we did get all of our cores, it's still just not a big enough of a population in this area to challenge this population or that population. There's just not enough of these. This is the South Slavic area, right? These are the Eastern Slavs, and these are the Western. I don't know. It's lots of Slavs, lots of different areas of Slavs. Let's work on our education then, because it is abysmal. With 3% literacy, 3% of the people, only 3% of the people in this country know how to read. That's crazy. Yeah, and our population is small, 179,000 people. There are nations in the New World that are larger than us. They have 500,000 people in Colombia. Ecuador has more people than us, That's saying something. What about Haiti? Haiti has more people than us. Argentina, Chile, everyone in South America. Yeah, it'd be hard to check Cuba independently of Spain, but you get the idea. Like, the way I'm bringing this up is like people had to go from Europe and settle this place. And they're way better off than us. Of course, we only have one province, and we should have like about 1 million people when everything's all conquered and all that. But still, like, that's tiny. Itty bitty. So we have no choice, really, but to, beef up our economy somehow, because with a small population comes this very small economy that is also abysmal. So I guess my first step will be reducing military spending, like pretty much all the way down. And while I do need to make sure I don't have a rebel situation, I'm just going to disband. Actually, I'll just keep them around for now until they become more trouble than they're worth, really, I guess. I'll keep them up. But, like, I do have to, since I'm not supplying them, they shouldn't cost anything. And because I'm not spending on anything on military spending, then the soldier pops will eventually turn into something else. They will not be soldiers anymore because I'm not paying them. Soldiers like to get paid. Otherwise, they really don't do a whole lot of soldiering. We put a lot into this patriotism and nationalism things of like, you should join the military to defend your country, but really, that paycheck's kind of important too. You can't get something for nothing. And while we do need to work on our education, we do need to work on our getting medicine, because vaccination is going to help, because otherwise, as far as I understand it, we're just going to get a whole bunch of flu and is it chloria, I think, epidemics. Either way, we don't want disease ravaging the country, so we're going to steamroll through medicine, hopefully. That will work. Meanwhile, the best move we can make as a country with a very poor military is to ally with other countries. Now, our biggest enemies, of course, are going to be Austria and the Ottoman Empire, because they, of course, have all of the cores that we associate with Serbia here. Serbia. So, allying with Austria or the Turks would only be temporary, as sooner or later we would need to betray them in order to get what is ours. Russia, of course, is the most likely alliance, and they do have, the biggest military, the #1 military at the start of the game, But, like, they're big and clumsy, and they don't have great techs usually, and they usually get their ass kicked by Austria. Or, not necessarily by Austria. Like, one-on-one, they can take them, but if they're fighting the Turks and the Austrians, they'll get, like, the AI, at least, will get confused and, like, send troops over here, send troops over there, and never really provide a unified front to take them on. And don't even get me started on if Prussia or France or the British get involved, because then they just, they storm on through. It's a terrible scene. I don't like seeing that play out. So, we could, hopefully, maybe get an alliance with Prussia. I think that would be good, especially against the Austrians, to tear them apart, while the Austrians only have one province of Serbian cores. They have a lot more in terms of the cores for Yugoslavia, which is not going to pop up until later. At least, it's not going to show up anyway, is what I'm trying to say. France would be, if I could get the French involved, that'd be great, but they're kind of far away. I don't think they'll go for it. And the British, probably not as well, even though they would also be very good with their navy and all that. But for now, for the start of the game, Russia is going to be the person we're going to be placing our bets on, because even if they do lag behind in the future, right now they are big and tough and strong. Let's analyze our budget again. Yeah, I don't know what to do about here. They do, like, I don't know why they did this. Like, they made it upside down, I guess to illustrate that this is the upper class, so they go on top. And this is the lower class, they go on bottom. But, like, I don't know, that seems like an unnecessary flip from vanilla, where it's the opposite. I'll just do maximum taxation of the poor, and increase education and administration as much as I can. And then I will press play. Crisis, we will keep the crises locked until 1870. How about that? The world doesn't need to get heated up all at once. Let's let it build into a crescendo. As we and that will help me just to not get distracted, because I could use my focus points instead of encouraging intellectuals to create a crisis over here to try and get the other great powers to declare war on Austria or pressure them into just giving me the province. But usually it doesn't end up working out that way anyway, so that will dissuade me from making any big mistakes early on. Hopefully, anyway. I do not expect to get a whole lot done in these first few episodes, since the early game of Serbia is going to look a lot like this. It's going to be me zoomed in real close. Look at that land. And then not being able to do anything because we don't make enough money to really do anything. And that sucks, but this is what we got going on. All we can do is encourage those intellectuals, research that tech, maybe build some railroads once we have the technology, maybe some forts once we can afford it, but man, forts are expensive. There's a blight. Spare no effort. Let them eat cake. That will give us a potato blight until December. We don't need that. Well, we don't need to be losing our prestige. We only have 2 of them. At least 25,000 pops in northern Serbia. Population growth, immigration push. That's tough. I mean, there'll be ways to get that prestige back, I'm sure. We can fall even further behind. I don't want my people dying any more than they have to. Like, if we have to extend a potato blight through another half of a year, like that would have tremendous impacts, because like we're losing almost 1,000 people a day, it seems, right? It's based on daily. Population has changed 912 in the last 30 days. Okay, not daily, but still, that's not good. And as a small country, usually when I'm playing as the bigger countries, like I just blow through these. It doesn't matter as much, because it's a lot of small impacts that build up to a greater thing. But especially if you're playing as like America or something and you have elections constantly, you're constantly like undoing this stuff anyway, because the election will influence how people in your country think. But in this monarchy that we're living under, in this small country of, less than 200,000 people, like a 10% increase in liberalism is kind of a lot. Because, like, if I were a bigger country, then northern Serbia would only be one province out of, like, say, 10. But 10% of the population of northern Serbia is the population of Serbia right now. So that's huge. I can't do this because 1%, killing 1% of all of my population when I have such a low population is crazy. So we have to get 10% more liberal. That's just the way it's going to go. And I'm out of water and I'm already thirsty. Coloria? I don't know. It's diarrhea, rendering the disease almost completely incapable. Quarantine the province. How bad could it get? Population growth minus 1% versus minus 2%. I'm going to go with that one. See, that's why we need to stop that, which is why we're trying to research medicine as much as we can. Montenegro has, a military of 3,000, which is half of ours, and, together, still not enough to fight the Ottomans or the Austrians. Again, that one stack could just steamroll us, and they have more of these stacks. But, it's nice to have good relations with the other Slavic people in our area, so might as well. It makes us appear slightly stronger. As I continue to increase relations with Russia. Note that the idea that this is how I did it in the practice game is I encouraged good relations with pretty much everyone. Like, I was allied with Russia, but I had 200 relations with Prussia, I had 200 relations with France and the British and everyone else. So, everyone loved Serbia, and they all wanted to help Serbia in any way they could, which meant that when I finally did do those crises, I don't know how much, relations actually have an impact on it, but it has to have some, because they were very supportive of me, it seemed. Even if Russia was backing me, and the British don't like Russia, it still seemed like Britain didn't want to be... It seemed like Britain was begrudgingly helping the Austrians. They're disappointed that I was sided with Russia, I guess, and not them. And then when Italy came to be, I actually allied with them against Austria because we have a common enemy. And they're strong, too, on top of that. So it was me, Italy, and Russia attacking Austria. Of course, Austria has cores in Yugoslavia, but they only have cores in two small, of these small province areas, and not the greater region, So that's not a big deal. If I can just give them those two little itty bitty pieces of land for, the greater good. Like, that's what I'm going to do. Consider it like this. Like, if I were playing as Germany, I might just say, let France have the Alsace-Lorraine. Because warring with France every, 10, 15 years, like whenever they regain their strength, is just kind of annoying after a while. Like, it's just kind of a waste of manpower and energy when you could do things like conquer the Russians. Or, conquer the Turks. Or just conquer anybody else other than France, because that's just such a drain. Yep, the one with less casualties. And think about it this way, like, if I can give France the Alsace-Lorraine and improve relations with them, we could be allies, and we'd be unstoppable. Yes, there's a German population in the Alsace-Lorraine, and I have cores on it and all that, but, like, come on. We gotta sacrifice a little bit for the greater good of the whole. So that's the mentality that I'm going into this. Cutting edge strategies. And if there is a lull, a long period of inactivity, which is very likely playing as Serbia, such a small country with not a whole lot of early moves available to it, then I'll probably just edit them out and, 20 times speed through. Or just do world checks where I look around, like, what's going on in America? Looks like Texas is the thing. Oh no, we got some conflict going on over there in the Oregon territories. USCA is breaking up. The Federal Republic of Central America, I suppose you could say, in this mod. Not a whole lot of note anywhere else in the world, though. Yemen is all messed up. Oh, looks like France is invading Algeria. They won. Who would have thought there'd be a French victory in Algeria in 1840? Who would have thought the Serbians would continue increasing their relations with the Russian Empire in hopes of creating a Pan-Slavic state? That's crazy. There are decisions and events. Like, I can form Yugoslavia. I need nationalism, imperialism, and 45 prestige. To form Greater Serbia, which would give me 10.75 prestige. And I think a few more cores. Yeah, I'd gain some cores in some other areas. But the biggest one, I guess, we need to pay attention to and try and aim for in these early years is the establishment of Pan-slavism, which we just need to have less than 0 relations with the Ottoman Empire in the years 1845. And what that will do is cause tons of unrest in the, Christian Orthodox regions of the Ottoman Empire, which would be the entirety of the Balkans, pretty much. I can't say just the Slavic areas, because it would still be, because the Romanian areas would still be agitated as a result of the definition of that event, and so would the Greeks. And I guess, supposedly, also over here, right, there's Christian Orthodox in this region as well over here, but mostly it's going to cause some unrest in the Balkans, which is, it's not really, because there's never going to be a rebellion big enough that it's going to topple the Turkish Empire. I mean, maybe if they lose a huge war and they don't have the military, like their military is crushed, maybe a rebellion can do some damage, but it's just unlikely. Still worth aiming for. Because who knows, maybe it will. And there is some stuff going on in Egypt, it seems. The Oriental Crisis, as the Ottoman Empire tries to maintain its control over Egypt. But they are protected by France, who is doing a pretty good job. See, it's times like these I wonder if I should intervene, like while they're under a lot of fire and a lot of stress. But even still, they're allied with the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom is powerful. Like, they could do some serious damage. Like, the French are already leaving, securing whatever they wanted to do. And then I would just be left in this war against the British Empire, and the Ottoman Empire is still strong. So I'm glad I did not intervene. You have to pick your battles very carefully. Alright, we've researched medicine. Hopefully the accompanying texts will come online. And I suppose we'll go with education efficiency. Engage. Continue increasing relations with Russia so that it is almost 200. There we go, and now it is 200. They probably still won't form an alliance, likely because, okay, the Ottoman Empire is not a great power anymore. So anyone could sphere us and bring us into their sphere of influence, which is probably what Russia will end up trying to do. Let's see. Yeah, the Russian Empire has 82 influence in us. There's a better way of checking that. Yeah, we're almost in their sphere of influence. They're trying anyway. No one else is. No one else cares about Serbia. Not yet, anyway. So in the meantime, I guess I'll increase relations with Prussia. See if we can get like a German thing going on. Like I said, like, it's nice that Russia's going to be our ally, but we have to look towards the future, and Germany is going to be tough. They're going to be they're going to be a powerhouse. Farming and mining efficiency, population militancy, all pops in northern Serbia. I'll go with this one. More production means more money, I would think. Our literacy has almost increased a whole percent, guys. We're moving up in the world. Oh man, so close. 97. 98. 99. 100. Yeah! What about now? They will accept. Perfect. Alright, but would they? Would they, do you think, attack the Turks? Or let's say, I don't know, Bosnia? They will not. That British alliance is... That's gonna be rough. Until at some point that alliance ends, or I get someone who is willing to take on the British, or the British find themselves engaged in some war that is bigger than maybe they bargained for. Which, I don't know. British intervention in Egypt seems like a big deal, but maybe not. See, they're losing. The Ottoman Empire acquires all states with core provinces. Why would Britain want that? Why does Britain care that much? I mean, I guess it helps their influence, especially if the Turks fall into their sphere of influence, which is definitely what they're going for. Actually, no, it seems Russian Empire has more influence in the Ottoman Empire than anyone else. I'll go with idealism and then go back to education efficiency. See how that goes. We are losing our soldier pops, but that's fine. From what I understand, it's not a great idea to kickstart industry early in the game, especially when we have such a low literacy. But, like, I don't know, I don't like not having a factory at all, you know? Like, we gotta get in there on the ground floor is, like, my urge. But, I don't know, better to build up our infrastructure first, I suppose. Railroads and fortifications and all that. Wonder if we should build a fort here. I mean, we have the money. Sure. That way, in case there is a rebellion, at least these guys have some sort of defensive bonus, I would assume. Did we dip into debt a little bit? A little bit, yeah. We had an event pop up there for a second and then disappeared. Or a decision, anyway. 1845, we need less relations with these guys. We do. Okay, maybe it's... That's definitely under 0 now. And we can establish Pan-slavism. The Orthodox Christians of the Balkans have lived under the boot of Muslim oppression for too long. The time has come to call on them to rise up against their oppressors. All Yugoslavia must unite. And just like that, 8 militancy on all these provinces. It's got to mean something. Whether or not they have enough population to actually make a rebellion that can actually accomplish anything is another thing. But whatever the case, they're there, the die is cast, everyone knows Pan-Slavism is a thing that is going to happen. Or a thing that is happening, and that Yugoslavia is in the works, I guess you could say. Just like this proud fort in Belgrade. There we go, loans paid off. In full. I want more land. Come on, Russia. They will not accept. Even if they would accept, I probably still wouldn't because I don't think they'd be able to defeat Britain. And again, it's not like they're really intervening in Egypt that much. It looks like Egypt successfully defended itself against the might of the British Empire. So I don't know. Egypt definitely wouldn't want an alliance, would they? Let's see. They are allied with France. It'd be difficult to imagine the Russians getting the Egyptians out of that sphere. And that's as much as we can do with Prussia at this moment. Some Circassians busting out in Russia. Doesn't seem like a whole lot else of interest is going on. Peru and Bolivia are two separate countries now. The United States is invading Mexico, as you'd imagine they would do. The Federal Republic is broken apart. And we are still small and weak. Looks like the Austrians are invading Krakow. Okay. Well, how about that? They did it. Amazing. That's cool. Because, like, Krakow exists, like, way longer than it should in the base game, because no one wants to spend 22 infamy, or the potential of 22 infamy, to take such a small little tiny city-state. So it's good they're not just, like, on the map like that, and, like, stuck in between Russia and Prussia and Austria. That's a tough... This has to be the toughest country to play as. Other than, like, that. Or there's another one people talk about, like that one, right? Yeah. That's a country. I wouldn't play as that. Or Jan Mayen, right? Where even is that? I thought it was up here somewhere. I guess not. Huh. Oh well. I swear there was an island up here. I don't know. That wasn't one of these. No. Oh, weird. Anyway. 200 relations with Russia. 105 relations with Prussia. Our research speed is up 50% as we research positivism. And hopefully get the education efficiency up even further. We're at 4.4%. Those intellectuals are getting to work. What did the Austrians want military access for? They are the Ottoman liberation of Egyptian Austrian intervention in Egypt. The Ottoman Empire acquired all states with core provinces. I guess just every great power gets to do that. I don't really care about that war at all. And it doesn't... They're still allied with... Oh, they're at war with Egypt. Not the Ottoman Empire. So the British would still intervene if I were to declare war on them. The Russians would not accept. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of this probably. For the start anyway. But if you stick around, maybe something cool will happen. Then again, maybe not. But hopefully. And wouldn't that be something, you know? Oh man. Oh, stop, please. I was about to end the episode and then this happened. Oh man, they're at war. Hungary popped up. Russia is intervening in Egypt for some reason. Like, come on. Why? Why does everyone want to pick on Egypt? So much bigger things are happening here. We could cripple Austria. If you... Not that I'm really interested in that. Come on, Russia. They'll declare war on Hungary for me. They won't give me military access. I don't have enough points to get my military out of the way. Russian Empire is honored. And... I need points. Nah, they found me. I just need to retreat through then. Get over there. Nah, they're all dead. Nope, not all dead. Where are you going? Do I not have millet? Oh no, I can't. There's no. I'd have to have military access with. There's no Hungarian border with Russia. There's Moldova in the way. And I didn't give military access to them. There's no real I'll just increase this for a bit. Well, if they get killed, they get killed. Not that big of a deal. So they die. Well, I don't know. Then again, maybe I'll get some prestige. Ugh, I'm so back and forth. I hate this. No, definitely can't defeat them now. Okay. Well, how about I just go to Budapest then? And not worry about that at all. Yeah, how do you... Well, they're just gonna attack me. But, yeah. And we'll give the Austrians military access, and maybe they'll attack you. Yeah. Oh, well. I don't expect the Russians to really get involved that much, especially before the Austrians manage to subjugate the Hungarians again. Then again, it looks like they have military access through Moldova. So why not? Except they're sending their armies somewhere else. What are they up to? What's their plan here? Okay, there's bigger stuff going on. The Prussian-French War of Honor. That's what's happening. Okay, can I mobilize what I have then? Yep, 100% mobilized. Okay. Perfect. 2 provinces under occupation. Meanwhile, all these minor German states are pouring into the Polish parts of Russia. This is a bad scene. This is a bad show on all fronts. Got the French involved. Well, the French are helping the Russians. We have some Russian involvement. As long as Austria doesn't finish their war with them before we do, should be okay. Because according to this, the Austrians have no cores on this, so maybe if I can take this province, I can just get it for free and actually be friends with Austria for a while at least. Before, you know, I have to take the Yugoslavian stuff, but I can get a new province out of this, maybe. If Russia's not getting distracted in Egypt, which it looks like they very much were. Oh, look at that, we're at peace. So yes, we did not accomplish anything. Bravo. Good show on our part. And this is the first of many failures that will come about over the course of this Let's Play. So stay tuned for more failures. That is a definite... There might be some successes, but I can definitely promise you there will be more failures. So, as always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned to this channel for more of this glorious stuff you got going on here. Alright.